China and Japan held talks today as their diplomatic duel over a chain of small but strategically important islands continued to escalate. Both sides claim ownership of the islands, known as the Diaoyu in China and as Senkaku in Japan. Chinese ships have now entered the disputed area in the East China Sea, a move that followed Japan nationalizing 3 of the privately owned islands. Here's our Asia correspondent, John Sparks.
Nobody lives on them because they're barren and rather craggy. But in the last few weeks, this group of islands has been getting plenty of visitors. 2 competing flotillas streaked and skirmished in the East China Sea today, including 60 vessels from Taiwan, the majority fishing boats, sailing towards islands they call the Diaoyus. But their passage was blocked by the Japanese Coast Guard and a duel by water cannon ensued. The Japanese call them the Senkakus, and their government bought them from private owners 2 weeks ago. But it's led to a wave of protests on land and the high seas. In the Taiwanese capital, demonstrators marched on the Japanese embassy, accusing their 3rd largest trading partner of theft. Theft of the islands and potentially large gas reserves lying nearby.
I think it is an invasion. They are stupid. The Diaoyu Islands have always belonged to Taiwan. They should be severely reprimanded.
More worrying for Japan, however, is China's claim on the same islands. It sent 3 research vessels into the area yesterday, and when ordered to leave, they simply didn't respond. In Beijing this afternoon, a government spokesman scolded the Japanese.
China will never tolerate any actions that harm its sovereignty. Japan must banish its illusions and mend its ways.
And a hurried visit to China by the Japanese foreign minister bore little fruit. We talked well, he said, but he wasn't accorded the usual diplomatic niceties, like the VIP section of the airport. Still, it's one of many disputes over islands, rocks and reefs in Asia, disagreements which often have deep historical roots. Japan, China and Taiwan say they're the rightful owners of the Senkakus, or Diaoyus, while further south the arguments continue over the Paracels claimed by China, Taiwan and Vietnam, and the Spratlys, which are claimed by 6 Asian nations. Controversially, China claims 80% of the South China Sea, citing ancient historical rights for waters lying close to many of its neighbours. These disputes are dangerous, breeding distrust, fueling nationalist feelings. The Chinese capital played host to a series of sometimes violent protests last week, directed at Japanese businesses and their embassy. And an unintended clash or the loss of life out to sea, well, that will only make things worse unless cooler heads prevail.
John Sparks reporting.